first one.
Shaking from the knees. So feeling the body weight drop. It's like standing with your legs straight. It's like if I kick your leg like this. You know this trick? And your whole body weight. And from here, then we feel the energy coming through.
Yeah.
And then we just play with passing it through the body. Yes. And then the walking.
I know, first the side, no?
Yeah, the size. This is just to feel the energy in different directions. It's the only reason. So you can do it, you can even do it down here. Like, you can just feel if
like a zombie.
Yeah, but you just feel like if I change it, how it changes where the energy goes. That's the main thing. I just want to feel it, that's it. And just different, even like backwards, I can just see where does it go, faster, more forceful, or slower. But I also try to catch it on the rebound, and then from here, yes, we come into a walk, keeping the arms as dead as possible. And then when I'm ready, the pattern stays, but one arm flies. So we can go forward, one arm will fly, and now we have a synchronized pattern.
Forward and backwards, right?
Yeah, you just play with it. So now we can try one arm going backwards, yeah. And I just keep the pattern switching between unsynchronized and synchronized. Yes, good. And with this pattern, I'll just move forward. When we have this, we can add a turn, keeping the head facing forward. And if you add a turn, it's yes. It starts going into the figure 8. And you can actually make this quite fast, so it becomes like a whip. This
then you
just
can do it.
Yeah, we go back to the other patterns. Yeah. And then this one. Yeah, so we just play both ways, but always the main idea is feeling how the force creates that. It's not here. It's not here. Yeah?
Just leave it and
yeah. It's like in Capoeira, it's not the leg, it's here, right? It comes from there. So it's the same concept, but just feeling it in other parts of the body. So we have the walking, we have the turning, and then we also have the kidney wipes. So this organ, the kidneys, the wipes again. Try to keep the head forward.
the elbow front, no?
Yes, the elbows are being thrown forward. It's being thrown forward. And again, I'm more concerned with feeling the energy. Because sometimes, hello!
Ciao! Bene, obrigado!
Sometimes we feel a part where it's not quite working. We feel a part where the energy gets lost. So we need to learn how to kind of, okay, so maybe this one's not so good. So we just keep practicing so it flows through. And we can even in the future play with different speeds. And then we transition between the patterns. So we can go this one, we let one fly, let another one fly. And at the right time, again, at the right time when it's ready, then we can whip into the other one. Fly. Come back.
Because I know she has the grandma behind.
Good.
Yeah, like to teach you more questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so those were the arm coordinations.
Then we did the ball,
Yep.
no?
Yeah, then we worked with the figure 8 with a bull.
Right.
So with the bull, the main idea, so we have a constant truth, this is truth, just to keep the palm completely flat. And we just work very slowly with a figure 8 pattern. And we want to diagnose where is the point where the ball falls. Yeah, so that we adjust our body to make it happen. And everybody will be different. If it drops, then you do it the opposite way. But remember, you want to find where it drops. Like here, it wanted to drop. Don't stop it. Let it drop. We have to let it drop. And also, it's that idea of failure. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. You just fall. And then change the hand so we get equal practice.
And then after we did...
Using the same patterns, we started the patterns.
But
so now we
going
have
back your head, no?
Yeah, that's a progression. So the first version is coming, well, maybe just here. The second version, we go to the dark side of the moon. So it comes behind the back of the head. We really try to hide it from ourselves, just to make it more more difficult. Yes, exactly. It's just simply another space to explore. So we can explore this other place behind us here too.
And then we did Calma. Ah, sim.
Yeah. So now we have the patterns. We practice this figura ocho, and then we were doing both of them together.
Medial.
Yes. So
No,
coming
this
into
is-
the body from the center.
This is not medial, no?
There's medial.
Yeah, this is medial,
Yes,
yes.
perfect. Yeah, good. And just make sure that when you're practicing it, or people are practicing it, they keep the idea that the palms are facing up. Yeah, the same as with the ball, or else they'll change the pattern. Like our other friends started doing these weird things like this.
Yeah.
So keep the pattern,
And then opposite.
yes, and that's lateral. Remember, this is like the swimming one. Just think you're leading outwards with the fingers. For me, I just think it's swimming. It's the same as swimming.
Yes.
This one good.
And then we had
yeah,
the wave.
the wave. And then-
Lateral.
Yeah, lateral,
And medial.
medial, yeah. And we can only change medial and lateral in the same pattern.
Then lateral to lateral.
Yes, perfect. And then try medial,
And then
Yeah.
medial.
and then wave. It comes to the medial wave. Perfect. And we can work in partners, and our partner can give us verbal instruction to practice this up-down coordination. Yeah, just like that.
Then we did
Yeah, after this, we
Warm up.
worked with this for a while. Yeah, then we worked with the wrist warm up as well. So we did various wrist things.
Then I.
So the wrist warm up begins with mobilization. So the first mobilization, there's many you can do, but I find these the quickest and easiest. The first one was internal, internal.
And then
It's a bit active against the ground. Try to straighten
Stretch
the
your
elbows,
elbows.
yeah, if you can. And we just work mainly with circles. You can work forward and backward as well, but mostly with circles. And just 10 or 15, however
Each
many it
side.
needs, yeah, and then the other way. The second movement, we then went to the opposite, with the back of the hands on the floor, flat on the floor, trying to straighten the elbows. If we can't have it closer, we let it come wider. If we can, as close as possible, active,
Same,
pushing,
no?
yes. Work with the
and always
circular
pushing the
motions.
floor with the fingers.
Yeah, it's slightly active. We don't just want to passively stretch the wrists. The last thing you want is wrists that just have no strength, but range. That would be, it's a recipe for disaster. So we add that active pressing in there as well, just to keep the strength in there element. From there, we then went to, we did the forward one. So from the forward, we just did just some simple stretching forward.
And then
Also
you did,
possible
you did
onto the
this one
toes.
too, no?
That was
I
after.
know, it was easy.
That was after. This is still mobilization. So
Yes,
here,
then
we're also, the idea, again, pushing with the fingers backwards. So for handstands and also hand control, it's teaching us that the fingers, you can see the ends of my fingers go white because I'm pushing with them back. It's active. And then when we moved on to the strength, the first strength movement, well, before we did the strength, we did the stretching, of course, for the fingers. And that was coming back to touch somewhere on the knees, letting the first
so the
knuckle
stretch
raise.
is first, no?
Yeah, we did the stretch at the last thing after doing the mobilization. So
we did the stretch after.
that's correct. Yeah, we did the stretching after these things.
No, but this is a strength one, no? Too.
Yes, but that comes after we do the finger stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not so important really, but that was just the sequence we did. So we bring it up and we're touching, and we did 15 touches as low as possible, if it's possible, to the ground. And the last one we held for the 15 seconds. In the beginning, this is very, very intense, but it gets easier in the future. After that, we work with the strength movements. The first strength movement, start from the back of the hand, bringing the chest in line to the top of the hand, and touching with the elbows to the floor. As we come up, we get to our maximum and we close with a closed finger fist. Make sure it's not like this. We want a full closed fist, and we repeat. We roll back out, and we want to start to feel that the fist actually closes it for us. The fist is the thing that pops up. And again, we can make this more challenging by having the knees further back and in the future on the toes, but take it very slowly. The opposite movement to this is with the shoulders over the wrists, and we work with the first knuckle.
Mm-hmm.
The thumbs are up so they don't help, so we keep the thumbs raised, and the tempo is 1, 1, 2, just touch, don't rest on the floor. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and we put most of the pressure through the first 2 knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
Always keeping the shoulders over the wrists, if not a bit forward, because if we're back, it's not a representation of where we are. And the last one was the rolling. We start quite close because it depends on your strength in your wrist and your mobility. We're rolling up, keeping the shoulders over the wrists, and then we turn and we need to touch the button on the other side, so we're leaning forward, and then we reverse it. And again, if we need more, we can just bring the knees further back. So it can come to here, just touch, we take it slowly, we don't force anything. So if I can't get it here, I know that I need to make my position more forward. Perhaps I don't have as much of this, but it's just more safer as I progress. But in the future, it will improve. That was the wrist work that we did.
And then
we move to the floor.
move to here.
Yeah, so for the floor movement, the first floor movement that we did was very, very simple. It was practicing just to get up and get down from the floor. So if you have a deficiency with the squat, it can also be practiced just seated, but it can also be done on the toes as well. So we just practiced coming down into this kind of 90-90 position and then back up again. But the goal is just as softly as possible. We can use assistance from the hand, but in the future, it's great if we can just come down without the hand, using the counterbalance and reaching out through the side. But if we need the hands, that's not a problem. This just establishes an understanding of getting to the floor and back into this 0 position, the resting squat. And then from there...
And the hand one, no?
Yeah, then we worked with the hand. So we gave numbers of 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1. So as I drop, I use the hand, 1. I tuck the elbow in, 2. I roll over it, 3 to the shoulder. Come to the other side, and 3, 2, 1 to come back up. And we can practice this pattern just by repeating. Come down, 1, 2, 3, roll all the way over to the other side, 3, 2, 1. Using the corner of the hand as that pushing, because afterwards we also use this corner for our low bridge, which is what we integrated. So after practicing the floor arc, so arcing on the floor roll.
So we did the
low bridge. So the low bridge, remember, we want to try and keep that line. Yep. And the line is from the heel of the hand, or the pisiform. The knees track directly forward. I go to the toes. And if we can get this position in line, that's really, really beneficial. This is enough for the beginning. We just turn to the other side. We bring it down. We want to focus on just becoming comfortable in this position. Good. Keep the elbow off the floor. It's better with the elbow off the floor in the beginning for practice. Yes, good. And remember, when we're ready and we have enough control here, we have this hand here to place on the other side. And we switch and coming back.
And then mix this with the other one.
Correct. The integration, I come back. I can just come back around. And then the arc.
1, 2,
3. And then the opposite side. Bridge, back, 1, 2, 3. Working with the circular rotation, bridge. But of course, if we have the full bridge, we can just continue in the circle. And we can just count numbers on one side. That's 1. 2. We can also add things such as the leg coming around. Or we can just make it a bit more flowery by opening up and closing as well.
Open and close.
Yeah, it's just visual.
And then walking the floor, no?
Yeah, and
So
then
last
rolling
one?
the floor. Yeah, so the last thing
Yes,
was
no?
rolling the floor. And the rolling the floor is just keeping always the hands and the feet touching the floor. They never leave. And I try to stay close to the floor, but we don't let that consume us too much. It's just an idea just to understand that we are close to the floor. So we explore as many different patterns as possible. So it could be just pushing like this, but of course, again, I can roll.
Always keeping the hand.
Always keeping the hands. Maybe I want to try over the shoulder, so I do come up. And if I want to go a different way, we chose to go just in one line, in one direction. But this is what I mean by the holé, for example. It's like a holé.
Rolê de bunda.
Yeah, it's like a holé, but on your back, like that. So you can play with all these things, opening, turning, and of course, if you want to play with it, you can even then just come back up into the squat and then go down again. And that would be,
Sorry?
if you want. So I'm just playing on the floor, close to the floor, but I can come to the squat
Okay.
and then just come down again the same way as you practice. So
Doing
that's,
other practice.
yeah,
Other combination.
exactly. But we'll move to that. We just keep it, we don't make it too complex in the beginning, just paso al paso.